Good morning, good evening, or good night to coaches, consultants, operators, agency owners that like this sort of content and want to see how we scale offers to 6 figures a month, multiple 6 figures a month, and beyond. In this specific video today, I'm going to be breaking down how we took a real estate offer that did used to do really, really well from organic, that crashed to around like 20-ish K a month, like 10 to 20 K a month. We came in, completely rebuilt the offer, and within 90 days got them to over 187 grand in new cash collected. Now this is attributable to us, the funnels we've built, the things we've done. They did over 200 grand in October specifically from upsells and some other things, but that is stuff that I cannot claim. Otherwise, as much as I'd love to say, hey, we did 200K plus with them in October, we only attributed 187, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what we did to be able to get them this specific cash. Now, to dive on in, we only had Hyros active since the 13th, so we only have $158,000 in new cash collected tracked from the 13th to the 14th, which is the time that I am filming this video. So yeah, sorry about it. If you guys don't believe we hit 187, get fucked, I guess. I'm still going to show you guys exactly what we do to help these guys scale. So just to break down the numbers for you guys, specifically August, we did 82K in new cash total, including organic. From paid specifically, we did 42. September, we did 140. From paid, we did just under 100. And October, we did 187 from specifically just all in, and then 152K with new or from paid, which in my mind is pretty darn good to be able to scale an offer from pretty much crashing out to like 16K, rebuilding the entire thing and scaling up. Now, before I dive into this stuff, first of all, I'm going to break down month by month exactly what we did and what we prioritized. So we initially came in to this offer, and I'm not saying the offer owner's name for a reason because they haven't given me permission. I did sign a non-disclosure agreement, so either I could tell you numbers or I could tell you who they are and not tell you numbers. And for social proof's sake and for you guys learning, it's probably better to just say numbers and not tell you who they are, what specific real estate niche they're in. Now, I digress. Back to the point. So before, they were selling 3K for one-on-one, pretty much a year access to their calendar, which in my mind is pretty retarded. So we decided, hey, let's just do 5.5K for 6 months, and then 1.5K a month as a renewal for the one-on-one, which is essentially initial onboarding call, and then they have direct one-on-one access to book bi-weekly calls over this time span. We have group calls, and we have other things as well. But this is to the point to where they don't have someone that signs in and just tries to book them out every single day. And on top of that, doesn't give them too long of access, right? We also want to be able to give people a tangible value, especially when we're working in an investment opportunity niche. If people are just like, yeah, I get coaching, it's like, okay, well, get fucked, right? But if I tell them, hey, our average client will get this many properties in this amount of time, and we'll actually guarantee you 6 properties in the span of 6 months if you have the capital to deploy to do it. Otherwise, we'll downsell without the guarantee. Then boom, people they're investors that are coming to us, so they see that as an investment. They're like, wow, that makes sense. I put 5.5K in, and I save all this time, I save all this money, and boom. So for us, it made sense, and we've had really good close rates, really good feedback from people on it. So yeah, in terms of the sales team build out though, they had closers in the past that were from the UK, selling on a US real estate offer, which in my mind is crazy. I love UK closers. I love you guys. But that just doesn't make sense, right? Especially for a US-based investment opportunity, doesn't really mesh well. So we got a US guy that already was a real estate agent before, had some past experience in the field, has also been in high ticket for a good bit, and just said, hey, listen, man, this is a new offer. You shouldn't expect to make 10, 15K a month right off rip, but we'll give you 15% commission if you triage your own calls and set some of your own leads as well. And so he was like, cool, let's do that. So we brought him in 15% commission instead of just having a setter closer and having 2 people that aren't eating very well. Again, just one person that could pretty much handle the whole thing. Now, you don't really need a setter for a closer unless he's consistently at 7 to 8 calls a day. At that point, you should bring someone on to triage his calendar, and therefore also do outbound on his behalf, although he should be doing outbound as well when he's not booked out. But one of our biggest traffic sources was organic TikTok Live. Now, these guys actually, specifically last December, it's November of 2025 right now, they did like an 80K month completely from TikTok organic. But as you guys know, organic kind of goes up and down. And so the past few months, they've really dropped. But we're like, okay, well, if you guys are doing really, really good from TikTok organic, then let's keep doing TikTok organic, even if it's not as good as it once was. So we would have them go live a lot more consistent than they were. And so organic content, we got them to be more consistent. YouTube, trying to get them consistent, but it's lagging. And so we were able to get back up to like 40-ish K a month completely organic, which is pretty good. You know, it's not bad, right? But we're like, okay, well, you guys have been redirecting people to book a call funnel, not a webinar. So let's go ahead and double down on what's already working. There's a lot of people that will come into a new offer and be like, hey, you know, I see you're doing a call funnel at organic at a small scale. You're booking a couple of calls a day. That's profitable, but let's do webinars, right? It's like, no, you have to like go into, every time you go into a new deal, you have to say, okay, what's already working? How can we amplify that? And then based off that, how can we then add additional things on? You have to be able to get clients fast wins, right? That's the most important thing. And so that's what we did. We decided to start retargeting a lot of people that were already in the organic, even though they had less than 10,000 followers altogether. So given it's a pretty small audience, especially if I think it's like, I'm not going to give the exacts, and you guys could probably go through my following and figure it out. I don't want that. But yeah, paid cold. We decided to launch it cold, and then specifically retargeting as well, targeting people specifically already kind of looking to invest into real estate, things of that nature, and that we're already kind of aware of Section 8. And we got to booking 6 to 8 calls a day, but the issue was the messaging on the call funnel wasn't dialed in. Now, every time I bring on a new client, I tell them, hey, like, let's realistically probably spend somewhere in the realm of like 8 to 15 grand a month on ads. If that's the route we're going to go and you don't have the potential to scale to multiple 6 figures a month with just organic, there's always going to be hiccups in the beginning. And that's why usually we start with call funnels regardless. And then we go to webinars and then use webinars as our front facing funnel and then retarget with call funnel. If that sounds confusing, just watch my last video. It'll make sense. But yeah, so the best thing about a call funnel on paid is you're able to validate an offer very quickly and understand what messaging attracts the right people and which doesn't. Because now, specifically in the month of November, mid-November, we have over a 10x, it sounds crazy, but a 10x return on our call funnel by specifically speaking to people that already know they want to invest into Section 8, but just haven't found the right person to help them, right? And so these are just the subtle messaging shifts, right? But that's the issue we had in the beginning. We would close like 1 in every 15 to 20 calls. We also didn't realize how bad our closer actually was, but he was extremely lazy and realistically would have been way more efficient. We were getting $50 calls, and so messaging was an issue. We also had people that were coming on that didn't really have a lot of money, and so we decided to increase the friction. Cold traffic show rate was pretty bad, and closer was, again, lazier than we realized. And so next month, where we were able to do 140K in new cash, we kept the same offer, and we decided to bring on a second closer to split test with the existing one. Plus, we were able to book more calls and a setter with the whole role to triage the calendar, because we're running a call funnel, so we don't have a lot of like outbound opt-ins. And we ramped up the spend to like $500 a day. We were booking calls initially for like $25 to $40, and so that was a little bit sketchy because when calls get that cheap, it's usually not a good thing. And we increase the financial friction to like, hey, do you have at least like 5 figures to invest, including a program, into real estate, because we help people with seller financing and get them access to DSCR loans. If you don't know real estate, forget about that, right? But when we started to scale the call funnel, though, we scaled up to 500 a day, specifically in calls for around $25 to $40, which in our mind was way too cheap. So we're like, okay, well, the thing that we need to do is increase the friction, right? So we decided to increase it to at least $10,000 to invest aside from the program in terms of capital to be able to put into specifically seller financing, the certain kind of real estate we help people with. So we did that, and we have ended up increasing the friction, improving the messaging, got our schedule to close to around 16%, meaning 1 in every like 8-ish people that book a call would close from paid, which is extremely good. Our cost per call went up close to like realistically upwards of like $80, as low as like 60 sometimes, but the quality was better. And so I much rather pay more per call, close more deals in less time, than be, you know, Jewish with my money and like really want these cheap calls, but then ruin the morale of the sales team to only close 1 deal in every 20 calls. Even if the cost per acquisition is the same, or even a little bit higher. I mean, maybe not a little bit higher, but overall, we want to make more money in less time by increasing the friction and quality of people on the call funnel, so they're not having to go through dozens and dozens of calls to just get 1 deal. Ideally, that's not what you want to do, because then closers don't make a lot of money, they don't stay, it's just not efficient. We started running Hammer Them ads as well, which for you guys that aren't familiar, it's where once someone books in off a call funnel, they came off an Instagram ad, which was like 60 seconds. Usually they don't watch the whole VSL. Obviously, a lot of people will consume the pre-call page. We started running retargeting ads on top of that, which would essentially be around 30 short-form reels, specifically from their existing organic, because they did really good with organic content, even though it didn't get crazy traction, to be able to just get people ideally in front of 10 to 15 videos per day that get them warmed up, answer their questions, while also hitting them with 3 emails a day, which we started from the jump. and hitting them from every angle plus the pre-call page to try to get them framed. Now, I'll show you guys the funnel and what this looks like in a little bit. But yeah, issues that we had this month is sales team churn, man. We fired the setter because although she was doing really, really good, good on the phones, she ended up getting a puppy and got lazy. She didn't show up to like a bunch of morning huddles, and we're like, okay, well, just doesn't make sense for you to continue. So bye. You know what I mean? The new best closer got offered the second closer that we split tested was performing really, really well. He got offered like a 20 to 30K a month sales management role. And so I was like, yeah, well, okay. That kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Still getting a lot of cold prospects on the call funnel, but much better performance. We started hammering them kind of like end of the month. So yeah, that was some issues that we faced was sales churn. And it's normal on a new offer is either you have people that see the vision and stick it out, or they see the growing pains and they want to go to a place without growing pains. And it's normal. It happens, right? Now we're to the point to where the closer we have Santi, who we ended up hiring. I think it was the end of this month, rolling in. Now he's sticking with us, and he's making consistently 5 figures a month plus, so he's solid, right? Now, October specifically, 187 in new cash. Now, we also added a done-for-you upsell on the back end and, did another 30K plus from the existing people, which cooked. We advised them on how to do that, and we didn't really do anything for it, so we didn't get paid on it because we just told them, like, hey, all you really need in the group, like, to try it out, see if there's product market fit, is to run, like, a micro VSL in the Circle community, description, and a link. Now, usually it's a lot more formal than that, but we had our sales team packed out, and we said, hey, let's put something up fast just to see what it is. And then from there on out, we can build out an actual back-end process, right? In terms of scaling the new team, we brought on a new closer, so Santi, and then middle of the month we brought on another guy, and then we brought on a new setter in the middle of the month as well, who also had experience on a real estate offer, an Airbnb offer that was doing around $500,000 a month. So figured he was a really, really good fit. We fired our original closer. We realized that he was not doing well, and for the past the past month, he kind of wanted to leave, but wasn't like didn't want to tell us he wanted to leave. He was searching for other roles, and therefore his performance dipped, his show rates dipped. A lot of this stuff started to suffer. Now, at this point, we have show rates that are consistently like 55, 60% plus on paid traffic call funnel, which for call funnels in 2025, that's pretty decent, especially when you're able to get 1 in 10 close consistently at a 5x return plus. You're in a great spot. You know what I mean? So we hired the new sales team. We hired the second closer mid-month. Call funnel was still steady at 500 a day. We did turn this off when we were running webinars, though, which is something that we decided to actually bring in, considering everyone knows a certain player in this space that is running weekly webinars and does $1 million a month and doesn't even push that hard. And he's the only one running webinars. So we're like, okay, there's a lot of money here. Let's go ahead and take some of it. You know what I mean? We dialed in the call funnel messaging as well to get, again, more in-market people, which is kind of something I was mentioning to you guys earlier. And this month, our return on the call funnel was around, say, like a 5, 6x. This specific month right now, it's like pacing a 10x plus, and it's doing ridiculously well. It's actually performing better than webinars right now. But again, webinars are still our front-facing mechanism. Now, the first 2 webinars, the first one, as it says right here, we rinsed. 43% show rate on a webinar, which is ridiculously good. Now, given we did retarget the organic audience for this one, and I think we had just under 700 registrants. We had a little bit over like 600 from paid, or no, a little bit over like 550 from paid. Because remember, we had just over 100 from organic. And yeah, we did extremely well. We spent 6.8 grand on that webinar. In total, we got around 42K back out. There was a good amount of organic. The second one, we put 12.5K in, and we didn't promo to organic. We kept the call funnel in promo because we had salespeople that we needed to feed, and we didn't want them to go drought for a couple of days. But we ended up getting 48K back out, and so basically like a 3.8, 4x plus return is really, really good. Now, the issues we had were data. We weren't tracking individual rep performance as much as we needed to, more so general team performance, and that's something that is my bad. To be able to not see, because this other closer now, he's leaving to be a growth operator, which is basically what I did, so I don't blame the guy. It is what it is. But yeah, our other closer is still an absolute dog, and so we're bringing on someone else. And yeah, that's the issue with some of these newer offers is the sales team churn. But that's why it's important to have really good sales leadership so that you could actually be able to get reps in extremely fast. Because if we have someone leave, bro, we get someone new in a week or less. It's also why it's good to have multiple reps if you have the call volume for it. But we weren't tracking individual rep performance, otherwise we probably would have hired the second closer sooner. Speed to lead with the new setter wasn't as fast, so we fixed it. We set up an automation to where it automatically calls his phone and connects him with them as soon as they book in, which is ridiculously efficient, increased our show rate a lot. And also, we were getting a lot of spam when outbound calling with the setter. We fixed it, made sure we're rotating numbers and actually putting call numbers through call registry, which I'll make a whole separate video on. But if we are to zoom out and actually show you guys the specific funnel that we are running. All right, so we have paid ads on Meta and IG and TikTok organic now. We actually are going to start running TikTok ads because I got on the phone with an offer owner that was doing around like $600K a month completely from TikTok ads. And I've completely underestimated them. I've run them in the past, and so we're going to start absolutely rinsing on TikTok ads. But we have essentially, this says apply here. This is actually, this one says apply here. It's actually register. And we don't actually run VSLs on webinar funnels. This is just for a reference. So I'll go through the webinar first because this is what people get a grip on, right? So we have a whole video breaking down webinars. I'm just going to show you what we do. So obviously the registration, then we have our VIP tickets, which are actually 47 specifically for this option. And then you have the stay poor button, which is, don't become VIP. And then we have our thank you pages, which there's 2 different thank you pages, one for if they did buy, one for if they didn't. And obviously they get their extra features. Now we have an agenda doc, which is basically breaking down what specifically we're going to be covering, kind of like a brochure, you could say, but it works really, really well with more affluent audiences. FAQ video with chapters. Now, usually we'll do multiple different FAQ videos broken up. However, for this specific one, we ended up already having a really good FAQ video that had chapters in it, so all people have to do is skip around. It makes it just as efficient. More long form to redirect to the YouTube to build more trust, and then we have our testimonial videos down below. Now, before the webinar, we have 3 value dense emails every single day with social proof, trust, basically getting them sold on, the offer owners, proving that it works and that they can do it too, and then value on why this is basically the best model and like how efficient it can be, and what are some actual free sauce we could give away to them. Hammer them ads as well is something that we've also run, which I already talked about. SMS reminders, which are immediate once they book in, 24 hours. Morning of, which is also via email, 1 hour, which is also via email, 30-minute, 15-minute live, 15 after, 30 after, and then offer drop. And so to break that down, most of those are actually automated emails as well. And the morning one is going to be basically a question of, like, obviously the reminder, but what is it specifically you're hoping to get out of this webinar, just so we can best prep our Q&A and everything on our end as well. So, they'll obviously respond and be like, hey, I want to look forward to this. Great, cool. Now, an hour prior, normal notification, 30 minutes, then 15-minute will be, hey, are you joining on iOS or desktop? Once we're live, great. 15 minutes after, 30 minutes after, basically just like FOMOing these people, like, hey, we just dropped some secret sauce, offer drop, oh, we're dropping the offer of a lifetime, not word for word. But that's generally the structure and the sequence and the flow. Now, once we're live, I have a whole nother video breaking down specifics on, how to actually retain people, how to actually present, or at least the kind of key things to present. And then from there, we direct them to a sales call. And so if we go to the call funnel, which is the other main funnel, we have kind of a 2-section system here, right? If they have at least 10K plus to invest in good credit, we redirect them to book a call. If they don't, they get redirected to a downsell page, which is a community for $47 a month that they can join. Once they buy, setter calls them. If they don't buy, setter still calls them. If they don't book, setter calls them. And ideally are trying to set them. There's a lot of people that come through our funnel and they purposely say that they don't have money to invest yet. And psychologically, it's because in their mind, it's like, hey, I don't know you guys well enough, so why would I say I have money to invest? And it makes sense, right? I totally get it. And so that's why we have this, downsell to be able to get people like, they could buy something, they get some value, and then the people that buy this and then do have money end up being ridiculously easy closes most of the time because they go through and they already get value. And so we're considering potentially, we don't want to have too many funnels running at once, because if you're running 3 different paid ads funnels and only doing 200K a month, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Obviously, we want to scale the call funnel on the webinars way more. But when they buy, the setter calls them. They also get added, or if they don't book as well, added to email list, SMS campaigns. So every time we run a new webinar, we absolutely hammer the shit out of them. We also just have an email sequence or email sequences that go out every other day as well. Now, once they book a call, they have the normal thank you page. This is like the agenda, except this is more of the offer document breaking down, okay, what it is specifically we do for them, who it is we are, and some social proof and how we could help you as well. A replay of the webinar, and when people watch this, there's like a 0% chance or like a 0.1% chance that they don't buy. FAQ, long form, same as everything as the other pre-call page as well. Now, We have a very similar process. We have, as the webinar, 3 value dense emails in the same kind of cadence, except different, more so framed as like, hey, this is why you should show up to your call, versus, hey, this is why you should show up to the live training and invest your time into this. Hammer them ads, same structure. And it's not even just about showing up to the call, I will say. It's more so like selling an outcome, because we don't just sell a program. People don't buy coaching, right? They buy a solution, and that's all that matters, right? So if we frame it as coaching, they're gonna say get fucked. But if we frame it as an actual true solution, they're actually gonna, like, so that's true to what they want, results based, they're much more likely to be interested. Automated reminders that look automated, so that when the setter calls and texts them personally, it doesn't look like they're getting spammed. He'll call them as soon as they book in, triage them, put them in a group chat with the closer, send them personalized resources based off their objections and the things that they want help with. And then from there, sales call. Now, if they don't close, we redirect them to the webinar. And if there's no webinar coming up that week, we redirect them to a live Q&A with the offer owners, to where they can get their questions answered, build trust, and then therefore go back in and close, and they get added to the client success pipeline and the ascension timeline. Now, I know it's a lot of nuanced shit, but realistically, when you're scaling an offer with a small personal brand and basically taking people from, I don't want to say nobody, but from like small, not super known to, multiple 6 figures a month, there's a lot of nuanced shit that goes into it. If this guy were to have, let's say, 100K followers, all we have to do, man, is post a couple story sequences, probably have a call funnel in bio, or like a DM me this and like a DM set, like, and we can easily print, and it wouldn't be complex. But the most important skill set, if you're an offer owner, or if you want to do this on your own, or you want to hire us, or you're an operator, is not only being able to go and take the people with, hundreds of thousands of followers and scale them, but being able to take anyone and scale them as long as they have the right credibility and social proof. And that's the skill that we have mastered. And so let's say you do come across someone that could do 6 figures a month, multiple 6 figures from a month organic, it's that much easier to get them to $500,000, $1 million a month and beyond. And so that's the video. That is all. If you want to work with us directly, whether you want to, get help as an operator to acquire more clients, potentially work with us on clients, or, you want to just be able to grow your agency in general, you could apply below. Or if you are an offer owner specifically and you want to be able to get to multiple 6 figures a month and beyond, you also have an option to work with us below. With that being said, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video, potentially working with some of you. And yeah, goodwill to the world. Peace.